Hi everybody, my name is Babita. Thank you for Renata for inviting me to Hot Stories this morning. How did I get here? I'm going to ask a quick question to the women in the room. Do you know if you're perimenopausal, menopausal or postmenopausal? I asked that because I didn't know. So I thought my perimenopausal journey started in lockdown when I was getting tremendous night sweats, literally getting up every 2 hours in a hot sweat and in a rage as well, because obviously you've been disturbed from your sleep. So you go to bed at 10, you wake up at 12, you wake up at 2 a.m, you wake up at 4 a.m, you wake up at 6 a.m. You haven't slept, so every sleep cycle is completely disturbed. So you wake up and then you've got to go to work, and you're expected to function with the same accuracy, the same speed, the same level of attention, with no night's sleep. And this doesn't happen one night. This is a night like having a big night out or jet lagged. This is going on for months. So that's how my journey started into wanting to raise menopause awareness in the workplace. But prior to that, I always had an interest in nutrition. The reason for nutrition was I can now link my perimenopausal journey starting at least a decade before that lockdown experience, so in my very late 30s. So now listening to doctors and having heard from them how women of colour, especially South Asian women, experience perimenopausal to a higher degree and earlier than Caucasian women was of great interest to me. So at that time, my whole world was really falling apart. About 2011, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid, which I was unbeknown living with. I'd gained 3 stone in weight rapidly. My engagement fell apart. My moods were all over the place. I always had heightened state of anxiety, where literally the shape of my own shadow would make me jump out of my own skin. So that led me down a path of, how did I get here? How did I get this thyroid disease? What's going on? When I finally got to the doctor and got the blood work, I realised what was happening. But being a person who loves to heal through nature, I really didn't want to go on the blanket drug that they offer everyone who mentions thyroid. I didn't want to go on thyroxine. I've seen family on it. I've seen friends on it who never come off. The dose just goes higher and higher. So luckily I had a very good GP. He said, well, what are you going to do instead? I said, I'm going to get this weight off, I'm going to go natural, and he says, if that doesn't work in 6 months, you're going on thyroxine. I said, okay. So at that time, I eliminated all inflammatory foods from my diet, things like simple sugars, simple carbs. I took out dairy for a while. I eat all these things now because I'm able to reintroduce them. I sought out a homeopath, which helped me a great deal. I went back to moving my body, back to the gym, and found that I regained the love of doing all those things. And within 8 months, my numbers normalised. Unbeknown to me, the things I was doing was actually taking care of my gut. So taking out all of those inflammatory foods meant my gut could heal. There is a huge connection in all of your body parts to your gut microbiome. The research is becoming more and more looked into, especially the brain-gut connection, so things like depression, mental illness, ADHD, even autism. So if you have children and they have impaired gut microbiome, they have actually found with an experiment with sterile mice, so mice that do not have any bacteria, they were displaying odd behaviour, not socialising, not playing on the mouse wheel, doing repetitive behaviours. Does that sound like something? Does that sound like autism? So there's a big connection. So that led me then in lockdown to studying nutrition, quickly followed by menopause awareness training, because I found that most of the clients I was attracting were women who were struggling with their health, doing everything, not able to lose weight, which seems to be the biggest goal for women. But I want women to be healthy. I want women to have a healthy transition from their hormones changing. And depending how sensitive you are to your body, that could be as early as in your 20s. Menopause is not an age-related thing. It's a hormone thing. And I've known someone as young as 26 go through menopause before their own mother. The reason I want to bring that message into the workplace, because as my story opened up with, one symptom of menopause is not sleeping. So, you know, if you were turning up to work completely jaded for months and months and not sleeping, and you need the support from your nutrition, your lifestyle. I thankfully helped a woman go from 2 hours sleep a night to now sleeping for 8 hours, obviously functioning better at work. But that's just one symptom. There are many unseen, unheard symptoms. There are over 100 menopausal symptoms. 34 are recognised in like a recognised list. They do impact your productivity at work. So I'd like to bring menopause and perimenopause awareness training to the workplace. To how do we do that? How do we open up a conversation for training managers, wellbeing managers, and HR managers to bring that training underneath the diversity, equality, and inclusion training? Because it's so important that they recognise how to have those sensitive conversations with the women in the workplace, how to make work comfortable for those women, what sort of modifications need to be made for the women so that they can flourish. Because sadly, 50% of women who reach menopausal age, which usually happens at the peak of their career, are not taking promotions. They're not taking promotions, they're not reaching the boardroom or whatever their desired peak pinnacle of their career is, because these symptoms suddenly come. Suddenly they've got lack of confidence, their memory, finding words, their concentration, everything seems to be going down the pan. So how do we make the senior bosses aware that this might be happening, and how do they support a woman through her career journey from her 20s all the way up to her 60s or whenever, you know, so that she can reach the pinnacle of her career, so that she can know that this is only a snapshot in her life, that this phase will pass. There are things that she can do, whether they're holistic things or practical help like HRT. On the subject of HRT, if your gut microbiome is not working well, you won't synthesize the HRT. You won't benefit from the HRT because all of your hormones are actually synthesized, metabolized by your liver and your gut. So those systems have to be right to be able for all of your health to be right. So that's really what got me there, and I'm glad I stuck to a holistic journey, and I want to bring that message to the workplace so that men and women can understand the impacts of perimenopause. Because there may be women out there who, like me, don't know that they could be suffering some hormonal imbalance, and that is impacting their work productivity.